Hello, today was all spent on headlight wiring primarily. Um, I had forgotten because I had gotten aftermarket LEDs for my car. I had forgotten what the wiring looked like inside the headlight bowl. So I opened up the right, the driver's side headlight to see what was going on. And I noticed that one of the spade connectors was loose, the one that was on the DRL, um, and the turn signal wire was not connected to anything at all. So I went ahead and repaired the connector on the green wire, which is the DRL, and that is hooked into the red wire, which is for the side lights originally. I believe I can use that as the DRL. And then for the turn signal, since I already have the winker on the wing and the LED turn signal, I decided I'm not going to use it, so I just wired it to the ground, which was the original wire that the original side lights in the original headlight was wired to anyways. So I did that. I forgot to check the passenger side, so I'll have to do that next time. But then I spent the rest of my wiring time trying to figure out how to get the winker wire into the chassis so that I could wire it up. Basically, uh, you have to thread it through the wing stay at the top of the wing stay near the hole that's drilled for the ground. Also note that hole you're supposed to drill all the way through so you can mount the ground wire on the underside of the wing stay. That way it's not uneven when you glue the wing to the wing stay on top. You want the screw on the bottom. Anyways, so you thread the wire through the top of the wing stay and you pull it out towards the bottom, close to the middle of the brakes. And when you pull it out, you can sort of thread it along the front top wing stay arm. And then you kind of have a choice. You can thread it through the headlight bracket with all the other wires, um, or you can sort of just go into the chassis directly from underneath the front of the um, top wishbone. I did the latter. I would have preferred to thread it through the headlight bracket with all the other wires. However, that hole is pretty tight, and I remember having trouble pulling the wires out. And to get this through, I tried it. I couldn't really fit it in. So in order to actually fit it in, I would probably have to pull out all the previous wires, tie it back together as one, and then try to pull it out again on the other side. Problem is, the other side is chock full of hoses and stuff, and so I thought it would be a really tough time to try to do that. So I just routed it under the front top arrow wishbone. Um, Note that you do probably have to remove the EconoSeal connector on that wire in order to pull it through the wing stay. Um, I threaded it through and tried to pull it through, but the connector is just too long and too stiff in order to pull it out of the tiny hole at the bottom. So I had to remove it to do that. Um, once that was done, I connected all the wires from the headlights and the turn signals and the winkers into I don't know what the connector is called, but it's sort of a housing that houses all six of the wires that you need. You just match it to the colors on the other side uh, of the connector, which is pre-wired, and then you just connect the two together. Um, Then I topped off the oil because my oil came in. I just added about another quart or so, and then the level on the dipstick read correctly. And then finally, I installed, so my fuel gauge mod from Beachman Racing came in. Now, this is a common complaint apparently among Caterham owners where the fuel gauge will either read like full for a long time and then just drop to empty, or you'll have three-fourths of the tank left and it'll read empty. And so this mod sort of tries to help make the gauge more accurate. So that came in a little while ago and I just installed it. It's very simple. You basically pull out the connector from the fuel gauge in the car. You connect that connector into the mod, and then you connect the other side of the mod back into the fuel gauge, and you're all set. Um, Finally, I think I took out one of the rear wings to start looking at how to fit the rear lights on it. Um, I may or may not want to um, paint protection film that because the front tires might be throwing all sorts of rocks at it. I will see how that goes, but more on that kind of stuff next time.